Oh, this is so good. It's gonna be my new thing.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to have you guys here. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name's Claire and I'm a student currently studying naturopathic medicine, and I'm super passionate about all things health, wellness, and just living a healthy and balanced lifestyle. And on my channel, I love sharing healthy meal ideas so that you guys can go get creative in the kitchen and cook yourself up some yummy and nourishing food. But as always, I know we are all super excited to get into the food, so let's just get into it. And of course, I started off the week with some oatmeal. I will have the full recipe for this oatmeal typed out in the description box below. And then if you watched my last video, you knew I was on a huge peanut butter and banana kick. So I topped my oats off with some bananas, blueberries, and then I decided to switch it up and use some almond butter. And that was my breakfast on Monday.
I can see the vista of your hills, then a silhouette up on the still. Dolly brush stroke with the canvas. Gotta let the paint dry. Burn blood make us feel fine. Body heat make the skin cry. Baby, babe, it's a good night. When we wake up still on the bedside.
And even though we're into March, it's still super snowy and cold where I live. So for lunch, I decided to make up a big soup. I said this in a few videos back, but I really never follow a recipe when I make soup. I really don't think you need one. I always just throw in the veggies that I have on hand, lots of spices, and then I usually add some sort of bean or legume, and then I like to add some sort of nut butter to make it kind of creamy. But for this soup, I just started by roasting some celery, parsnips, and carrots in a bunch of spices, and then I got started on chopping my onion, garlic, and ginger, and that onion just completely knocked me out. I don't normally cry when I chop onions, but I don't know what was up with that one. I do always start my soups with a base of onion, garlic, and ginger, especially for fall and winter soups. I just think it adds a nice warming flavor. And I just started by sauteing those down in some coconut oil until the onion was nice and soft, and then I went ahead and added a bunch more spices. It was basically the same spices I seasoned my vegetables with, and I just let those spices cook down for a few more minutes, and then I added a little splash of water to help deglaze it. I also then decided to add in some red lentils. Like I said, I always like to add some sort of bean or legume just to make the soup a little bit more filling. I cooked the red lentils down for about 20 minutes, and by that time my roasted veggies were all done in the oven. So I stirred those in, I added some pepper, and then, like I said, I like to add some sort of nut butter or seed butter just to make it a little bit more creamy. So, of course, I decided to add some tahini, and then I transferred everything into a blender and just blended it until it was nice and smooth and creamy. And then to serve, I made up some of my tempeh croutons and I toasted up some bread. I've made my tempeh croutons in a bunch of videos, but I will have the full recipe typed out in the description box below. And that was my lunch on Monday.
One day I woke up with you on my bed. I couldn't even remember everything we said. I was wondering if I ever really liked you. Up against my body, but it's like I'm not beside you. Can't think.
And for dinner, I had some chickpeas in the fridge, and you guys know I love to use up my leftovers, so I just started by warming those up on a pan, and I sauteed down some spinach as well, mostly because I just didn't really want to cook up any other veggies, and spinach is really easy to cook down. And then I decided to make a tahini sauce to go on top. I made this sauce in my last What I Eat in a Week as well, but it's basically just water, tahini, nutritional yeast, maple syrup, garlic powder. I added some miso this time just to see if I liked it. I think I like it better without the miso though. And then of course some lemon juice as well, and I just blended that all up. Then I just added a little bit of the tahini sauce to the chickpeas and spinach, and I just stirred that around so that everything was coated and warm, but I didn't want to cook the tahini sauce. And while I was making that, I also just threw a sweet potato in the oven, topped that off with my chickpea and spinach mixture, and of course some sauerkraut and some extra sauce, and that was my dinner on Monday.
I'll go ahead and be the one to break us up.
then I said in my last video that I have a new go-to oatmeal recipe, and this is it. Guys, I finally started making baked oats. I mean, it's basically just my normal oatmeal recipe, just blended in a blender and then baked. But I don't know, it tastes so much better. And I made this little crumble topping to go on top. It's really simple. It's just almond flour, coconut sugar, and cinnamon. And I just sprinkled that on top and it goes all crumbly and crusty. It's just really good. And I just baked that in the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes. And I'm still getting the texture right. These ones were a little bit runny, but they were still delicious nonetheless. In fact, it was so good, I had to film a live reaction.
These are so good. Now I get why everyone was so obsessed with baked oatmeal. And as a oatmeal lover, I feel like I should have hopped on this trend so much earlier. I'm blown away. This is gonna be a big change for me. I think I'm gonna have to make baked oats every morning now. Anyway, I'm gonna go enjoy these and I'll catch up with you guys later.
Still feels like winter here. I know spring is coming, so I wanted to make kind of a spring-inspired noodle salad on Tuesday. I started by making the dressing. I used some rice vinegar, coconut aminos, maple syrup, sriracha, tahini, lime juice, garlic, and ginger, and then I just used some water to thin that out.
I'm waiting 'cause you're in my way.
And then to my bowl, I just added some ribboned carrots, chopped cilantro, red pepper, edamame, and some brown rice noodles that I just ran under cold water to cool them down. Tossed that along with my dressing and then transferred it to a bowl. And that was my lunch on Tuesday.
I know that you can make me feel something. Don't tell me that you're not good for me. You don't know the half of me. I hate being around me, even if you're not okay.
And for dinner, I decided to make up some pasta, and I just started by boiling my pasta, and then I chopped up some broccoli and tempeh, and I just seasoned my tempeh with some coconut aminos, garlic powder, and smoked paprika, and I just sauteed those down in a pan, and then I just set them aside. And then to my pan, I added my pasta, some steamed broccoli, tahini, nutritional yeast, garlic powder, and salt and pepper, and I just mixed that all up until everything was combined and it was all warmed through, and then I just served that up along with the tempeh on the side, and that was my dinner on Tuesday.
I'm just getting started with you. Roll me something sweet, you're dripping all over me. I can't get enough Sunday love, that's all I need. That's all I need.
And of course, after dinner, I was feeling something sweet, so I decided to make kind of a cookie skillet. And as usual, I did not measure anything. I just eyeballed the recipe. I'll type out all of the ingredients that I used. It came out a little bit crumbly, so I mean, that's what happens when you don't follow a recipe and you don't measure anything, but it was still really, really delicious, and I added in some chocolate chips, and that was my dessert.
I can't get enough Sunday love, that's all I need. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. 'Cause I can't get.
And on Wednesday, of course, I made up some more baked oatmeal. I added some blueberries and some peanut butter and topped it off with my little crumble topping, and that was my breakfast on Wednesday.
Sunday love, that's all I need. I can't get enough Sunday love, that's all I need.
And on Wednesday, I had to go into school for lunch, so I just made myself a really quick sandwich. I just added some mustard, avocado, and then I roasted up some red pepper and tempeh in the oven, so I added that on as well. I added some spinach, and then I've been sprouting some alfalfa, and it was all ready to go. I was super excited, so I added some sprouts on top, and then of course I added some balsamic glaze. That is a must for a sandwich in my opinion. And I just packed that up and took that with me to school. I also packed up some of the leftover cookie skillet that I made the night before just to have as a snack. And on Wednesday night, I got home pretty late and I didn't really feel like cooking, and this is when leftovers come in handy. So I just warmed up some leftover rice, soup, and then I just added a bunch of spinach. You just gotta shove it in there because it will wilt down. So I just warmed that all up, served it up in a bowl. I made up some more of my Tempeh Croutons to top it off, and then I just drizzled on some tahini, and that was a super quick and easy dinner on Wednesday night. And on Wednesday, I decided to add some cherries to my baked oats, and it was delicious again. And I think I'm getting the texture down. They were a little bit thicker that day, which is kind of how I like them. And then for lunch, I decided to make a tofu scramble. So I started by sauteing up some mushrooms in a pan, and I added my tofu. And then I made my seasoning sauce to go on top. And of course, I'll have this all typed out in the description box below. But I used coconut aminos, nutritional yeast, smoked paprika, garlic, and turmeric. And this is what happens when you don't use any measuring instruments. I accidentally put way too much turmeric in. So I just had to scoop some of that out, and then I just mixed that all up. I added that to my pan along with some spinach and just gave everything a good toss. And then I decided I wanted to make it a little bit creamier. So of course I added in some tahini, just gave that a good stir through. And then I decided I wanted to make some avocado toast on the side. The avocados have not been very good lately. I was kind of disappointed by this one again, but it still tasted okay. I just served that up along with my tofu scramble, and that was my lunch on Thursday. And if you guys watched my last What I Eat in a Week, you guys know what I'm making, but lately I've been really into the peanut butter and banana, like I said earlier in the video. So I just cut up a banana into little coins, spread some peanut butter on that, and had it as a little snack. Oh, I also added some cinnamon on top, very important.
Lately I've been thinking about the choices I have made and doubt the life I've chosen for myself. I wonder how it would pan out if I stuck to the status quo and stayed in England. Never know, but when I see my friends, I see them with this golden.
And for dinner, I started by making up a little cilantro sauce. If you've watched my last couple videos, I've been making an edamame pesto, and this was super similar to that. I just used cilantro and coconut milk and switched up the spices, but I'll type it all out in the description box below. And I just put that in the fridge for a couple hours just to set. And then when I was ready to make dinner, I seasoned some tofu in coconut aminos and just fried it up on a frying pan. And then if you watched my last What I Eat in a Week, you guys know I've been making sushi at home. So that that is what we are doing. I'm starting with some nori. I added some rice to that and just spread it out, and then I took some of my cilantro coconut sauce and put that on the bottom. I also added some tofu, carrots, sprouts, some more of the sad avocado, and tahini, of course. You could also just use sesame seeds. And then I learned my lesson from the week before. If you guys watched the video, you know I was overstuffing and I couldn't completely roll the sushi. Again, I just decided to cut them in half. I didn't want to risk cutting them into little sushi pieces. I served that up with some steamed broccoli topped with tahini, kimchi, and some coconut aminos to dip, and that was my dinner on Thursday.
Red, blue, and green. Is that how my life would be? Is that how my life would be? But there's not to say. Thinking of every.
And for my breakfast on Friday, I actually made this on Thursday because you have to refrigerate it overnight, but I just made a chia seed pudding. And you guys know on Fridays I go into the office pretty early, so I like to take my breakfast to go. I just packed up some of the chia seed pudding, stewed apples, topped it off with some walnuts, and took that with me. And there's a lovely clip of me at the office. And then my boss actually got me a chai latte, which I haven't had in so long, but it was super delicious. And then for lunch, I basically just took the leftovers from the night before, some rice, steamed broccoli, and tofu, and I just put that all in my crock pot and warmed that up once I got to work. I also packed some more of the cilantro coconut sauce and some sauerkraut to top it off with, and that was my lunch on Friday.
Things that you're not sorry for. I forgive the way you always seem to ask for more. For more. I forgive the days you walked away and left me cold. I forgive you. I'm sorry it took this long.
And when I left work, it started snowing really hard again, so I just wanted something cozy for dinner, and I decided to make some pasta. I sauteed up some Brussels sprouts in coconut oil and balsamic vinegar, added some spinach in my pasta. I seasoned that with some nutritional yeast, tahini, of course, some lemon juice, salt, and pepper, and I just gave that a really good toss. And then I still had some tempeh croutons left over from earlier in the week, so I added those as well. And that was my dinner on Friday. Alright guys, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope that you enjoyed it and got some meal ideas or inspiration. As always, please remember to make sure to nourish your body in a way that makes you feel good. And if you did enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. And if you are new here, make sure to subscribe so you can come hang out with me every week. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
I forgive you. I'm sorry it took this long. I just wanna say now, I forgive you. I'm sorry, I forgive you.